Hi, good day everyone. Good morning, evening, afternoon. I hope you're all doing well. It's another warm day for me today. That's why I'm in a sundress, which is has been lovely so far. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the fourth live stream that Daily is doing. So while we're waiting for some more people to drop in, I thought maybe it's fun to talk a little bit about myself, who I am, what I'm doing. You've seen, if you're a regular viewer, then you've seen me a few times already, and it might be nice to get to know each other a little bit more. So, my name is Jayne, as you might have guessed from the text bubble in the right there. It's mirrored, so. And I've been engineering manager at Daily for about half a year now, and the team is wonderful. Love working with the developer relations team and the rest of the company as well. As you can see, I have lots of board games and some mirror things, video games, consoles, which I really like. There's some Star Wars Lego over here. Before Daily, I've been working at Confer, another video company, where we made video for doctor-patient collaborations, which was recently acquired by Daily. So it's great to be joining a great company like Daily together with the people that I already was working with. So maybe let's just dive into it a little bit. Today we are going to start with the very first part of a series that we called the Spatialization demo. So you might be wondering, what is this demo we're doing? But let me first let me just show you what it is that we're going to be making. So let me share my screen for a second. So the thing that we are making is something that Lisa made for this blog post introducing Daily's new Spatialization demo part 1. The blog post is in 7 parts. We might be doing it in 7 parts, who knows? It depends on how fast or how slow I go. If it's anything like last week, then it's going to be 7 parts. So this is the demo that we are creating, and I will show you, maybe I will just show you the live version of it. So here we have something that looks similar to the pre-built UI that I showed last week and the week before. You enter a room URL, which is the same URL that I've been using for a while, and then you just click Start Demo. And here you have the demo that we're going to create. So you can walk around in a 2D environment together with other people, and you have a sort of a virtual workspace. So you have a room which has 4 seats right here, or you have something that you can broadcast to everybody. So you can use this to work together more closely, or you can use this to have breakout rooms during a meeting. So because if you are entering this room, then you will only be heard by the people that are there. And if you use this, then you broadcast it to all the rooms. So let me just join for a second with a second viewer. By the way, if you have any questions during this whole thing, then ask in the chat, or looking at this later, then ask in the comments in on YouTube or wherever you're watching it, and we will answer you. Wait, am I just? Do I get? Wait, why am I not there? Oh, it is not working when I'm doing it on the same. That's weird. Is it not working when I'm doing it on the same browser? That's probably it, right? Okay. Let me just open it in a different browser. I'm just gonna open it in Chrome. Just hold on a second. I know what the issue probably is. Is that I'm just not running it. I need to run it first. It was just a cached version. Sorry about that. That might be the issue. Here, let's just refresh and start the demo again. I don't know. This is weird. Jayne 2? It's always like this. So we start the demo and yeah, it's still not working properly. Let me check the debugger. Huh. This dot currently preferred is null. Great way to start the stream. Just doing more bug fixing. Oh, there it is. I just had some caching, I think, going on that just the caching was killed after. Do we have two versions of me now? Still not two versions of me, but at least we're getting the right call controls here at the bottom. Other tabs might still. So we have me, and we have me again. Maybe I'm just gonna check it out in Chrome, see if that fixes it. You know, I thought I think I might know what the problem is. Okay, so let me quickly try to change my room to public instead of private. See if that is indeed the issue. So if that's the case, then I need to quickly change it to make it work for private, but that is for the next. No, this is also, yeah, there it is. I'm here twice now. One time in here, and now I'm not able to hear my other self probably if I turn on the sound. But now I'm broadcasting to everyone, and now you can see in this version that it's there. So right now it doesn't work for private because the demo is not accommodating to private rooms, but you can make it work for private rooms as well, of course, but not like that. So this is what we're making. We're making so that you can walk around here, and like if I go here, then you cannot see the other one. But if I go in it, then you suddenly see both versions of me. And you can do that with up to 4 people. I'm going to quickly change it back to private because, of course, I don't want everybody to be joining this room. So there we go. I'm sorry for this weird start. It was not a bug, it was just not built. That is how demos work sometimes. You cannot accommodate, well you can, but you won't accommodate for every type of user. You just want to show something that is possible. If you want to know how private rooms work, then we went over that in the video from 2 weeks ago, where I added the private room for uh, the VCS demo that I was making at that point. So today what we are going to do is not create the entire product. We are just going to focus today on what is it exactly that we're building. And what are the APIs that we're using? What does spatialization actually mean? And what is how does the application structure look like? So basically, we're just as usual. We're just gonna go walk together through this blog post. It says that it's a 5-minute read, but I am a very slow reader, so I'm just gonna go over it very slowly for all of you. So this is how it was looking. Sort of. Was the goal. And as it says in the beginning, it's part 1 of a series. So if you can look at the whole series, there's in total 7 parts. So we're starting today with the new spatialization demo, walking through the tech stack and the API highlights. Then we're setting up the daily call in our spatialization demo. Then we'll be running a 2D world for video call participants to traverse. We'll be using PixiJS for that. And then we're managing users' media tracks to implement spatial audio and video. Then, so you also will be using the proximity, so how close you are to someone. And we're building the audio graph, which is, we're going to use, I think, the web audio API for that. Then we're creating interactive focus zones. That's like the ones that you saw that you can walk into. It also sort of has a border where you sort of bumps against. So you have to make sure that you actually walk into it. We're adding screen sharing support. You might have noticed that in the demo that I showed here. Oh, here you have the screen share at the bottom. And then finally, we're also going to be testing our spatialization features, manual and automated testing using robots and jests. So this is also going to be very fun. So we'll be looking into a lot of different things that you can do with Daily, with PixiJS, with the web audio API, and also with TypeScript, because the whole thing is going to be built in TypeScript. So let's go back to the blog post itself. So we start out with an introduction, why we would make it. So for example, creating virtual coffee, remote teams to collaborate online, community hangout spaces. For example, if you have a meetup, it would also be fun that you can have one speaker and then sort of tables that you can set that people can discuss what the things that are going on. We've got lots of questions about how developers use Daily to build spatial audio and spatial video applications. Yes. So here is a little bit of an example about what spatial audio in this context of the demo is. So we'll be referring to the user's audio relative to their avatar's navigation. So basically, how close you are to someone else or to something else, that is spatial audio. So it gets louder and quieter depending on where you are in the room. So we're not making any soundscape experiences that Dolby Atmos enables. Might be fun to do one time, but not in this blog, not in this series. So as usual, there are many approaches to make an app like this, but we'll be using our DailyJS API. If you don't know DailyJS, that is our front-end API, our front-end library, which it will be fun to be using. So I've used that before as well in the previous videos. So I'm not going to go over all the intricacies about the DailyJS API, but I will be showing you how it works. So what we're building, well, you can traverse with the arrow keys, and you can see each other as you come within proximity to the world. So, sorry, I was just looking at it. If you see me looking to the side, that means I'm looking at the chat, because as I hope you are, you still know, then you can ask questions to me in the chat or to our moderators, Lisa and Jess. So it says your users can broadcast to all other world members. That's what we saw already. It's all within the same daily room for now. And we're not building an infinitely scalable world. In this iteration of the demo, we're focusing on the potential. It's a client-only approach. We'll be covering optimizations in relation to the Daily API. But there might be more coming for advanced performance enhancements, but not this time. So if you want to check out the whole demo without actually having to build everything yourself, you can create a daily account and a daily room, and then go to the Spatialization demo repo, where you can check out the whole code. There is 2 versions, 1 and 2, but we'll be focusing on version 1 for now. I think, at least. Let's see what's the differences between 1 and 2. Yeah, I think we're focusing on 1 for now, at least. So you can clone it with this, check it out, run npm i, install the whole thing, build it and start it, and then you go to localhost 8080 like I've done here. I'm just gonna close this one, and then it should work. If it doesn't work, just make a comment on the demo repo itself, and maybe go to a issue, open the issue, and we'll figure it out together what the problem is. Or just comment it in YouTube, and in the YouTube or in the channel here, and we'll let you know how we can help you. So I mentioned this already a little bit, what the stack is. We'll have DailyJS, of course. We will be using TypeScript bundled with Webpack. I'm gonna go over that in a minute. The Web Audio API, so you can manipulate audio properties in the world. That's a very fun API to work with, by the way. We're using PixiJS to help us with rendering the world, so we can use the whole 2D environment. And then there's the standardized audio context package. So this helps us ensure consistent behavior between browsers, because, as you know, browsers are not very consistent. Help us also with mocking for tests. That will be in part 7 of the blog. We'll see how fast we can get there. So what is the Web Audio API? Let me start there first. So basically, how it works is that you can create an audio context, and inside that context you can create sources like an audio or an oscillator or a stream. If you don't know what those terms mean, don't worry, we'll go over some of those, the ones that we need later. You can create effects if you want. If you have worked with audio, then you know what reverbs are and things like that. And then you can choose where the audio goes to, like your speakers, or maybe something you want to record. So if you want, you can go over the whole thing on MDN, but we'll just focus on what is needed. But the examples here are fun to look at. They also have a spatialization example, by the way, in MDN. But I don't know if we stole that. Probably not. But yeah, like audio and spatialization, that is just something that happens a lot in on 2D and 3D environments, of course. So it works on pretty much everything except Internet Explorer. The things that we want to use work everywhere except Internet Explorer, because we're not using create media track source. We're not doing the latency hint stuff, so we don't need to worry about any other stuff. Oh, close the tab. Did not need to close the tab. Reopen, close tab. Go back, go back, go back. There we are. TypeScript, for those who don't know what TypeScript is, it is JavaScript with sort of strict typing. With typing is, for example, that you, for example, here they have a user that has a first name, a last name, and a role, but it does not have a name, so you can get an error when you use the property that doesn't exist. That's for example things that happen. There's very nice autocomplete things that you can do with TypeScript. Basically, this makes your coding faster and safer, or depending on who you ask, faster and safer. Some people think it's slower. I like it. I like type safe code. And we'll be using PixiJS, which is an HTML creation engine, and this is wonderful. Like, I move my mouse around and you see all these nice effects. We're not doing something as pretty as this. I can play around with this all day. We'll be using this for the world building that we have here, so that you can walk around and see others. By the way, if you're gonna hear something in the background, my cats are very wild today. Maybe I should just open up the door and they can come in, but maybe that will also disturb the whole stream a little bit. I'll leave them for there now. If they're gonna be rascals and gonna meow very hard, then I'll just let them in. So how does the application look like that we're gonna create? So as Lisa says here, we're not digging into the details of all the posts, but we'll be looking into like, what is this thing? So first up, we have this index.ts file, where we will init the calls, and this is sort of the backbone of our whole application. It initiates this global room, and we'll go into this later, of course. It says here, we set up the call object and all relevant daily event handlers in the room constructor. When the user submits their entry form with a room URL, the call is joined. Okay. And then we have, after the user is confirmed to be in the call, the world we instantiated. Oh my lord. The world we instantiated when importing a room is configured and started. So we have a room here, and we have a world. So the world has on move, it's like the key listeners. I mean, there's a container. We have the robots later, and I will be coding this in the next few episodes. So you don't need to look at this and think, oh no, I have no idea what's going on here, because it's quite a lot. But we'll be live coding at least most of it. I will probably copy paste quite a lot of it, but at least you get a sense of what it is that we're making. So it is, as it says here, part of this startup is includes setting the world size. So world size is depending on how big your screen is. Creating relevant sprite containers and populating the world with predefined zones. So the zones are what we shared, where you have the rooms. At this point, we also create the local user within the world and start the update loop. The update loop, for those who don't know, is like if you are creating something like to the environment where you walk around, then it needs to it has a loop every time it has to check, okay, what needs to be updated now. For example, walking around, that is done within the update loop. So it goes very fast, it runs very fast. Within milliseconds, it looks at what is inputted, what has changed, what are other people doing at this at the same time. Is someone entering something? Is someone leaving somewhere? That is all done within that update loop. So it listens for user navigation events, updates any remote user zones and positions, and checks for collisions with any object. So as I see here, like if you go in, it checks like, okay, you're in this room right now. So this is a nice illustration that shows you a little bit if you are going right into the whole code and wants to know like, okay, how does this work? You can look at this illustration. So we have the index.html, which is also an, oh, that's image tooltip. That's not. So we have an index.html file that is, we don't really have an index.html file. We have an oh, here it is. We have an index.html file, sorry, which is of course in the source. So here is where the whole joining, the very first screen when you want to join is being created. We have the global room, which connects to the worlds, which in turn goes back to the global room. The world is rendered through PixiJS. The global room is connected to DailyJS. And then there's furniture and zones. Do we have, oh, we have furniture. Can we, okay, look. You go down. You cannot go past this table, I guess. So you cannot stand on the table. So that we also have furniture, which is nice. We have users and the user media, which then in turn the user media handles track states and updates, and the web audio API works alongside the user media API. So the user media API was just user media class. I think it's here. So this is the user media class thing. So this is quite a lot of information at one go. But what I'm actually trying to show you right now is, even though it's a lot of context, there's only like a couple of different classes that you need for this whole like game or workspace or whatever it is that you need to build. So if you have a product what you want to make that uses this, it's not an extreme amount of work to make a proof of concept for it. Oh crap, close to another one. Crap is something I can say? I don't know. Where reopen close tabs. So you have the DailyJS, you have PixiJS, and you have the web audio API, and you build some stuff around it. And of course, I'm going to show you how to make the simplest version. I will show that next week. But right now it's and then we're gonna extend later with more and more stuff to it, up until that you can actually test all the stuff. So here we have some important parts of the DailyJS library that we can that we will use. We have the daily call object. So we're making this. This time we're not using pre-built as we did in the previous videos, but this time we're gonna make a completely custom video chat, so that you don't have to use the default UI that Daily provides. We're gonna be using app message events. So we're for zone and positional data, handling them and sending them via send app message. So there's an instance called send app message that you can send a message to other participants so that they know where you are in the world and that you can be updated in that update loop. There's a network connection events. So events to detect when we switch between peer-to-peer and SFU. So once you go to more than, oh, I need to know this, 3 or 4, we go to more than four users, then you get into a, you get from a peer-to-peer network to an SFU mode. I think I will go into this a little bit later when we're actually going to be using this, but it's good to know, when we change the, when we switch, because you can get some small interruptions with it. Then subscribe to tracks automatically. Call object configuration property to prevent every participant from automatically being subscribed to every other participant's track. So we'll be putting that to false. This has something to do with that you don't always want to be subscribing to everyone's audio and video track. Basically because if you're not in the same room, or if you're far away, or if you only want to have some tracks from people, we'll go into more details later about that. Set subscribe tracks participant update action to subscribe to participants who are in the same proximity or focus zone as the local user. Again, this make sure that you are subscribed to the correct tracks. Set bandwidth instance method to lower track constraints in global traversal mode. And cam simulcast encodings. I will explain what simulcast is also later when we're going to use it, but basically a simulcast layer is that when you're going into SFU mode, there's this server in between everybody, and you can send. Maybe we have a pretty picture in this page, by the way. We should have one, I think. Yes, there it is. So you have user A, B, and C, and if there's a, if you go from, oh, here is the whole thing. Once a fifth participant joins the daily call, instead of direct peer-to-peer connections, tracks are first sent to a selective forwarding unit. So that's the server thing that I was talking about. So you send data, and that re-encrypts and routes data back to all the other users. That way, you can define how big of a video you want to send. So that's a very cool thing that we do at Daily, is we have implemented this simulcast. So instead of sending a single track to the SFU, a publishing participant's web client sends the same source track at different resolutions, bit rates, and frame rates. Each of these group settings is known as a simulcast layer. Simulcast. I don't know how to pronounce it properly. So we want to do that because we sometimes have a large screen size, sometimes we have a big screen size, and it depends a little bit on that size, like what you want to send, what you want to receive. And we'll be hooking into various meeting, join, and leave events. We'll go through all of those later. Later as in other videos. Then there's the Web Audio API, and that allows us to apply effects to audio streams in our 2D world. As I said, it allows developers to control audio sources, manipulating audio tracks, and we'll be using the API to control the volume and pan of audio the local user receives from remote participants. So these are some of the parts of the audio API that we'll be using. We'll be using audio context to create our audio nodes. We'll be using gain nodes to fade participant volume in and out. We'll be using stereo panner node to emit sound from predominantly the left or the right speaker, depending on the user's position in relation to the local participant. We'll be using dynamic compressor nodes to help prevent audio clipping and distortion. We'll be using media stream audio source nodes as the entry point of our web audio node chain, and the destination node as the final node in our node chain. This maybe doesn't make a lot of sense right now, but when we're going to be using it, I will go over all of these things into detail, give you some extra examples. And then of course we'll be using PixiJS. And if you want to know about PixiJS, their documentation is also pretty nice. But I would suggest at least watch some of their examples, because they have quite a big list of, oh, that looks yuck. I'm sorry, I'm not nice with bugs. But I have a lot of, this reminds me, this takes me back to when I was making word art. I still have the, sorry, I'm going on a totally different direction. When I was like, I think 10 or 11 or something, I was one of the first kids who made their projects for school on their computer, and I had a project where I was talking about the Loch Ness monster, and I made all of these cool things with word art, and just because of that, I got a high grade. I don't know why. I still have the whole project. I was so proud of it. Sorry, going back on a tangent, going back to what we're talking about. So, just take a screenshot. You can go into PixiJS and play with examples all day if you want to. And they also have some guides like what we have. Yeah, so if you have any questions right now, this is the perfect time to ask them, because this was the end of today's blog. It's not a blog, also a blog. This is the end of today's video. And I hope that you have a nice overview of what is going to happen the next couple of weeks. So let me just show myself a bit bigger. Here I am. Thank you so much for watching. By the way, this is my new Nintendo 2DS, which I'm very happy with. Just wanted to share that. I hope you had a good time today watching me ramble about our spatialization demo, and I hope you are all as excited as I am about the whole new thing that we're gonna create together. I know that you've already seen it. I know that I show you the code, but it's gonna be so much fun to do this together, and there's so much things to learn. I actually have not worked as much with Web Audio API, so I'm also very excited to be working a little bit more with that, and maybe we can make some cool visuals. If you have nice ideas for what we can do in addition to this spatialization demo, so what can we also make with this, then please let me know in the YouTube comments or in the Twitch chat. So yeah, thank you for joining us today. Hope you will tune in next week. And if you're watching this on YouTube, next week will be August 10th of 2022. You can follow us on Twitter on daily on @trydaily. We are also on LinkedIn, where you can follow us or ask us questions. Myself, I'm @Jayne_Mast, MAST, and Jayne with a Y, as you can see over there. And we're also still looking for developers, of course. So if you want to join Daily and make awesome stuff like this, or make it possible for people to make stuff like this, if that sounds interesting, then look at our website, daily.co, and hopefully we'll meet each other soon. One more thing, if you have built something with Daily and you want to be on the live stream and share about what you have made, then let me know and we'll have you on the show said one day. Thank you very much. See you all next week. Bye.